Ooh, Capital One data breach. Ouch. Man, so many of these places. Everybody wants to have their anonymity, wants to be, the internet troll where they can make comments, they can do things, and other people don't know who they are, want to make purchases, and not have their information out there for everybody and their mother to see. Because obviously, you like your privacy. You want your privacy. But a credit card company, that's just as bad as Facebook. I think we're seeing this more and more where these institutions, these big companies are screwing up. And I understand screw ups are going to happen. And hopefully you have good people out there trying to mitigate it as much as possible. Being hacked because of code being wrong, and how many millions of strands of code is there, and that just that could be for one part of the system. There could be multiple systems in place working with each other. So getting people to constantly look for ways in, ways around stuff, securing the code. I'm kind of torn up between this. When you get a Facebook that clearly lies to you, we're not using your data, we're not selling your data, and you find out they do. I mean, ultimately, in the end, people really didn't care all that much. The select few did, but then you get the company where money's really involved, like credit card, and people, oh no, what'd they take? Social security number and my address, my date of birth. They have all that now. Now they can go out and get fake credit cards with my information. Well, yeah, they might have gotten all of that. Does Facebook have that too? But no. With this, I guess what I'm trying to say clear is data breaches are going to happen at some point. Unless you have teams on it 24/7 and constantly updating and upgrading, your code and everything else. The biggest thing that I personally think people should do always is, with your credit, secure your credit. Make it so that any purchases, your credit gets pinged and you have to call in and say, yes, that was you. You can secure your credit through the Equifax and other places so that, every single time somebody tries to use your stuff, or even you try to use it, it notifies you and, asks you to verify before it releases all that. It's what I do. It tells me every single time. You can go in, talk to them about securing it. It's the best thing for when stuff like this happens, so that if a bad individual gets your information and starts to try and use it, you're more prepared, because initially you're going to get hit with all that, and the process could be you going to court and fighting back, or you disputing the charges, on like credit. If they got a hold of your bank account, disputing the charges and stuff. It could be simple, or it could be, quite a bit more intricate, is what I'm saying. But if you put these key things in place and your credit gets hit and they don't tell you, then you have a means to go after them. And, if there's a breach in the system, hopefully they'll find it. A good example, I was banking with Wells Fargo. Thank God I left them. And I did a bill pay. Everything went fine, blah, blah, blah. Money came out. Cool. We're done. Go back. And this is during Christmas. So, you know, you're buying gifts for people. You're watching your money to make sure you don't overdraft. It's a big thing. I go and look. It was like 2 days later. And my bank account is negative 170. I look at it and it's like, why is it that? Well, they did a double pull. Go into the bank, talk to the idiot manager, because that's how it worked there. And she's like, oh no, you paid this bill and then you paid this bill and this came out on top. And it's like, why would I pay that bill twice? Well, I don't know. I don't know why you did it. And it's like, I didn't. I did the bill pay the one time and it shows it right here, going through and through. Well, I don't know. It's your problem. That was the argument I got. And it's like, the hell that is. If I only paid it once and, I kept screenshots, still do that to this day, then there's an issue. Well, she didn't want to help me, so I went to another manager at another place, and they're like, you can't do this. You go to the manager at your place. Okay, go. Talk to, a new manager, and we have a three-way call with that jerk manager that I opened my account with that didn't want to work, the manager of the one place, and the technician for the servers. What's going on with my account? Did something happen? Well, it was like 5 hours later. They call me back after sitting there for a couple hours, and the guy goes, oh, well, we found where the issue was. The server did a reset, like literally right when you did that. So we pulled the money, and then the server reset, but it kept that bill pay on queue. So when the server came back up, with whatever it did, he used his technical terms, it pulled it again. And nobody was the wiser. Okay, your guys' fault. Got it. Please, give me my money back. Get rid of all those overdraft fees because they were murder. Well, jackass manager, nope, can't do that anymore. So I went to the one manager, that was nice, and was like, please close my account and give me my money back. That was the last time I banked with them. When you clearly have the proof. The technician even said, no, it was actually on our end. Cool, I want a report of that, for my information. That's how I would say Capital One. Secure your stuff. Know that, these systems are huge. They have to be. For all that information, constantly updating and changing with new technology, new threats coming in. So don't think of it as a huge deal. I know this was a big runaround in the conversation, but something so simple as a reset caused me to lose a lot of money because all that was just in fees. They drained my account. By the time it was said and done, because it wasn't just that one bill pay that I paid several. I lost close to $2,000 and then went into the negative. So, that stuff happens and you hold people accountable, yes, but if you don't secure your stuff first, well, it's kind of on you. At the same time, I would be looking at, what actually went wrong, where the breaches were, and what they're doing about it to fix it. Before oh my God, they have all my stuff. Well, you can go to your Equifax, and I just remember Equifax. You can go to the other two and secure your credit. Be proactive, and then go from there. Capital One, I really don't see this as a huge deal. Not at this point in time. It sounds bad, but it's not really a big thing. How many breaches do we see a year, or do we hear about a year, and how many do we not know about or hear about? So it's case by case. And then a good example is, how many times has Facebook been breached? Or how many times is Facebook breaching your information and selling it? It's one of those things. So in this day and age, secure your information as best you can. There's a lot of assets, a lot of resources out there, and it's free. You just have to go look for it. And with that, peace.